Good morning, beautiful beings. Welcome to the First Unitarian Church of Orlando. I am Melissa Baker, serving our worship team here at 1U. With me in today's service are our worship leader, Reverend Margalie Belizaire, our director of Lifespan Religious Enrichment, Judith Stein-Farrall, accompanist, Danny Monzon-Villegas, Fluffy Rayford, our chalice lighter, Addie, board president, Greg Buckingham, and board president-elect, Sandy Pollock. And let's not forget our teams of wonderful people in the background working diligently to ensure that we come together this morning. So thank you. We greet you this morning, old friends and new ones, as we explore our Unitarian Universalist faith, which draws us into a community of justice seekers with a commitment to lifelong spiritual growth and compassionate service to the community. Whether today is your first or your 1,000th Sunday in our midst, you are welcome here. Whoever you are, whoever you love, you are welcome here. In this community, your whole self is welcome. We welcome your race, national origin, immigration status, gender identity, sexual orientation, age, physical or mental abilities, economic status, or religious background. We welcome you. We have a couple of special announcements for you today. Children will go to activities when we sing them out after the time for all ages, and the nursery is open until noon. If you're attending in person, be sure to join us in Gore Hall across the courtyard after the service for a potluck lunch, which will be followed by our congregational meeting promptly at 12:15. The Fellowship Committee is sponsoring a camping weekend at Moss Park on March 21 through 23. Moss Park is a beautiful campground in Southeast Orlando. Sign up as soon as possible so you don't miss out on the fun next weekend. See the weekly update for more information. We have a caregiver support group that meets on Fridays to offer support and community to one another. If you are providing care for an adult and wish to be in the company of others on a similar journey, please consider joining this group. See me, Melissa Baker, for more information. And now, a generosity campaign update from Sandy Pollock.
Good morning, everybody. Well, as of Friday, we are at, for our annual pledge, we are at $381,461. Go us. So we are almost going to be on target for our goal of 475. And that's 101 pledges, which is still just under 58% of our pledging units. So I just want to make a couple of comments. One is, you might wonder, what happens if I don't turn in my pledge card? Well, then we just keep your current pledge going. And, you know, that's fine. And that may be why some people think they really don't need to bother to turn in the pledge card. But here's the thing. If you don't turn in your pledge card, we just keep your current pledge going. But it also doesn't give you that wonderful opportunity to increase your pledge, because Amy does not automatically do that. And that's fine, but here's the thing. Our expenses haven't stayed the same. It's just a crazy thing that way. Our expenses, of course, go up a little bit every year. So we know that you need to make a responsible decision for your family, of course. But if you can increase your pledge, really do, okay? Really think about it and do. What Cindy and I do, I mentioned this to somebody the other day, and I don't think they realized we could do this. Once we decide what our pledge is, we divide up the monthly amount and just have it automatically deducted from our checking account. So that is an option. If you're like me and you don't want to have to think about doing it every month, that works out really well for us. And so we only have to think about it once a year. Now, and if you're thinking, well, gosh darn it, I sure have been meaning to get that pledge in, but I keep forgetting, do you know there are actual pledge cards in this building right now? It's true. It's true. It's true. On the high top table in the little lobby area, there are actual pledge cards and pens, and you can just fill the darn thing out. And there's a box there, you can put it in. Your pledge is anonymous, okay? Now, you also can still go to our webpage, and right at the top, you can fill out your pledge electronically. That's what I did this year. I really like that. Bing, bang, boom, it's done. So really think about that. And those of you who have already pledged by Monday, there is going to be the drawing during the congregational meeting for a $100 gift card, and we'll find out who that lucky person is.
Okay.
Woo.
For more information about our congregation and announcements, go to orlandouu.org or email us at info@orlandouu.org. All other announcements are on slides before and after the service and have links in the weekly update or on our website. If you would like to follow along to the service, please use the QR code shown in the monitor and on the first few slides. Thanks again for being here in person and online today. And now we move into the chalice lighting, and we invite Addie up to ignite that spark. As I said, today's chalice lighter is Addie. Please join me and saying these words as we light the chalice. In the light of truth and in the warmth of love, we gather to seek, to sustain, and to share. Please rise in body or spirit and join me in singing our opening hymn, number 300, with heart and mind. The words will be projected on the screen.
Beloveds, it is so good to be here with you this morning as we continue to explore the practice of trust. And I do want to say a couple of things before I invite us, or I call us to worship. So just want to make sure you all know that there are some churches in the area that have been attacked, and actually many of you showed up this morning to show presence for Joy MCC. They are one of the churches in the area that's being targeted. So the safety team is prepared if something like that happens here, and so we have a plan in place, just so you know, okay? So should our service get disrupted by those who are not so interested in what we have to say. Okay. I also want to thank the choir members who are here today to support Danny. And so this month, as I mentioned, we are continuing to explore trust, the practice of trust. And today we are going to talk about trusting that our audacious faith can guide us in this moment that we are living in. So we'll talk about our shared values and how they are just, can position us in a way for us to meet this moment. So hopefully, I love how the song really got us started. And I now call us to worship with the words of Reverend Gary Kowalski. With faith to face our challenges, with faith to face our challenges, twice, with love that casts out fear, with hope to trust tomorrow, we accept this day as the gift it is, a reason for rejoicing. So, as we rejoice together in community, beloveds, let us worship together and let us begin by greeting one another. And it would be good for you to find someone you haven't said hello to greet.
you straighten up some further? I know it's impossible to see them all, isn't it? Reverend Margalie and I were just admiring my T-shirt collection up here. Reverend Margalie was neatening, and there are shirts missing from this collection.
And why are they here?
Well, they are here for a couple of reasons, Reverend Margalie, one of which is we're talking about our audacious faith. And this is one of the ways I live my audacious faith here. The second reason is when the kids are sung out later, we're going to paint T-shirts, and this might give them some ideas about what they want to put on their T-shirts. The third reason is I'm inviting children and youth and young at heart to join me up here while we talk about how we can voice our faith a little bit today. So if any of our kids would like to come up here, I would love it. If not, I'm just going to stand here and talk to y'all, and you're going to have to repeat after me. All right. So good morning, everybody. Hey, thanks, Marnie. So one of the one thing I'm going to sit down here, so I'm a little closer to kid height. The one thing y'all need to know is that Unitarian Universalism's values are centered in, what are those back there on the wall? They're hearts. What do hearts represent? Love. Say it a little louder. Love. Woo! So Unitarian Universalist values are centered around, say it again. Love. Love. All right. And so all the 6 values that we talk about a lot right now include justice, equity, interdependence, pluralism, transformation, and generosity. What? So we're just going to talk about a couple of them today. First of all, Unitarian Universalists have values. Can we say UUs have values? So if anyone ever asks you what do UU is, you can say we have values, and they're centered in what? Love. UUs have values, and they're centered in love. Can we say it as one sentence? UUs have values, and they're centered in love. Yeah. Sorry, what? Oh, my shirt fell. UUs have values, and they're centered in love. There we go. All right. One of our values is equity. What does that value mean? Any ideas? Okay, go ahead.
It's sort of like equality, but it means everybody's needs so that everybody can equal.
So I'm going to repeat that. She said it's equality that means everybody gets what they need so they can have equal opportunity, right? And that's exactly what it means. So everybody has a chance. Yes, Ruby.
In my spin book, on my there's a funny part where there's no
I'll repeat it.
adventure on a school day.
There's no adventure on a school day? Okay. So sometimes equality means that everybody gets a day off. Equality also means that we all can participate, all have the same opportunity to participate. Right? It's made possible for all of us to participate, which means sometimes that everyone in this congregation can participate in the service. What would make it possible for them to participate in the service? Singing. They show up, or singing. Or they're singing, right? Or they go online. Yes, real quick.
Or they have to go to or they have to stay home.
And they might stay home and watch it online. What makes it possible for everyone to hear the service? The tech team. What else? Woo! Go tech team! What if they can't hear me?
Hearing.
Sometimes we have a hearing loop in the service so they can hear, so people with hearing aids can hear. Sometimes online they might use their closed captioning. And sometimes, and I did not check with the tech team if we can do this yet, but at some point in the future maybe we can capture the words I'm saying up on the screen, right? Yeah. So our values are equity. Let's say it out loud. Equity. And we have values.
We have values.
Centered in
Love.
So everybody stand up. You all can stand up too if you want to, but you can just repeat after me. We have values.
We have values.
All right, wait a minute. Does everyone remember the cheer, we have spirit? Yes, we do? Yes. Okay, we're going to change it to values, all right? Okay, so we have values. Yes, we do. 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 We have values. So do you. Say it real loud. We have values. So do you. So do what I'm saying. Okay. We have values. Yes, we do. We have values. Yes, we do. We have values. So do you. Okay. So one more time all together, and then just point at me or point at anyone you'd like to, okay? We have values, yes we do. We have values, so do you. All right. Break, go. Now if our families would please form a loving arch so our kids can go out and paint t-shirts.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Scott Rayford, but thanks to a haircut, my family calls me Fluffy. Everyone has a story. Mine begins long ago in a faraway place, a frozen land of ice and snow and bitter cold known as Michigan. Like in so many stories, I met a girl. As a new couple does, we'd talk for hours, probing what our future life together might be like. She asked me about religion. I, knowing everything about the world as a college kid does, replied that I didn't like any church because all churches tell you what to think, and that simply wasn't acceptable for me. This was a very important moment in our relationship. It was the first of many times that I was wrong and she was completely right. She convinced me to visit a Unitarian church nearby, and I learned the truth. There was a church for people like me. A few years later, we were married in the West Shore UU Church in Cleveland, Ohio. By that time, I was leading the AV team and rigged the sound system for my own wedding. Some things never change. Together, we joined protests, organized events, and taught RE classes. We made lasting friendships in that community. Our church was our home. Literally, we rented the parish house. But beyond the rent, I really wasn't able to contribute much financially to the church, but I could help in other ways. I repaired microphones and worked on this newfangled live stream thing, which was pretty unusual tech at the time. Sometimes during those late nights repairing things, I found something wholly unexpected. Tucked behind an amplifier, or maybe it was under a console or in a piano, I found religion. Now, for most of my life, I'd been agnostic, and that didn't really change. I still don't know if there's anyone up there or elsewhere, but I realized something more. I realized that there is something more. The cables I connected were just bits of wire, sometimes literally recycled scrap. But what they did was so much more. Each wire, each connection was a part of the Sunday service. And that Sunday service was a part of the church. And that church was a part of the lives of so many people who would never even know that the wire existed. That wire carried hymns, inspiration, and hope for our congregation. But I was the only one who knew that it was even there. But knowing isn't the point. The UU Church didn't give me something to believe. It gave me something to believe in. I believe in the human gestalt, the whole that is more than the sum of our parts. On our own, we can make small changes to the world, but together, in ways that we will never fully know, our influence grows to be so much greater. Several years, 1,200 miles, and 2 kids later, Melinda's still teaching RE, and I'm still connecting wires. Those wires are still carrying UU messages to those who need them. We've made lots of new friends here at 1U. Eliza runs excitedly across the campus when she sees her friends, for better or worse. Usually around Thursday, Tiger, my son, will often ask, "Can we go to church tomorrow?" And he's disappointed to hear that Friday and Saturday happen every single week. They're not going to grow up like I did, thinking that church is a place of rigid conformity. They know a different world where we respect each other, cherish our differences, and work together to make the world better for everyone. Every little thing builds the world our children will grow up in. That's why we support this church, our church. Every contribution, no matter how large or small, becomes another connection. A plate of cookies becomes a new friendship. A flower becomes a celebration. An electric bill becomes a global broadcast around the world. Together, all of our contributions and connections build an interdependent web. It's up to all of us to improve it for our present and future generations. Thank you.
Good morning, I'm Greg Buckingham, currently president of our Board of Trustees. We invite you now into the practice of generosity. It is one of our spiritual values which sustains the life and the ministries of this church. Let us be grateful for the opportunity to give, for it is a privilege to be able to do so. And let us be grateful for our needs, for they give us the opportunity to practice receiving. Today's full collection will go to the ministries of the congregation, but you may also support this month's Share the Plate partner, which is Zebra Youth. Use the link in the newsletter or on the screen to donate directly to them. And if you donate directly to them, please just let us know that so we can track our contributions to our partners. The offering will now be collected. Note that you can also give online. Let us joyfully receive what is offered here today in the spirit of gratitude and fellowship.
Beloveds, this is the time we set aside for deep sharing of our hearts and for prayer and meditation. If you have a sorrow that you need witness or help with, or a joy that you wish to share, please contribute to a collective sharing of joys and sorrows that we to be read here on Sunday during services. You can do so during the week by sending us an email at joysandsorrows@orlandou.org. If you're attending in person, you can fill out a card at our welcome table, and the greeters make sure we receive them up here. We also offer you the opportunity to light a candle during our candle lighting ritual. So bring your joys, bring your sorrows. Come just as you are, because your whole self is welcome into this space, this sacred space we are creating together. These beautiful flowers, they are provided by Jeannie Carter, who wishes a happy St. Patrick's Day to the Irish and Irish at heart. We have a note here that Brian says, I would like to thank Renee Stussman for the 3 delicious pies she baked for me last week. I won the pie in the service auction, and Renee went above and beyond to deliver them to Kennedy Space Center so I could share them with a bunch of my fellow NASA engineers on Pi Day, March 14th. Yeah, you know, pie. Her baking was definitely brightened the day of a bunch of beleaguered government workers. Lisa Marie would like to thank everyone for making Voices for Justice so inspiring, uplifting, and a resounding success. I also have another note about the same event. Thanks to everyone who worked on or participated in the Voices for Justice. What an amazing evening, inspiring. We also have some sorrows to share. Melissa sent us a note that friends of 1U, Marcy Santoyo and Joel Lockman, are grieving the recent passing of Marcy's mother, Dina. May we hold them in our hearts. Marcy and Joe, by the way, bring Ellen Horn each month to church here. Also, from Melissa, please know that several members of the 1U Caregiver Support Group are carrying quite a lot right now, as those we care for are in varying stages of struggle and decline. We are at times exhausted, grieving, grateful, and frequently overwhelmed. Above all, we know how blessed we are to be held in the loving light of this beloved community. Thank you for holding us close. We also have a note from Daniel Reyes that this past week, his grandmother, Ida, passed away, and just wanted for us to send him and his family just loving thoughts and healing energy as they navigate grief from this great loss. I know Daniel has mentioned that he was very close to his grandmother, so yeah. And as for the larger community in our country, we hold these spaces with care, and the world with our compassion by acting for justice in all the small and large ways that will move the arc of the universe toward justice. And please, beloveds, remember that the arc is long. So that's a reminder for our patience. And for all the joys and sorrows of this community, whether shared today or held close to the heart, let us pray, let us celebrate, and let us send each other healing energy. I am inviting you now into meditative prayer. If you would sit about 5% more comfortably than you are now. Be intentional about relaxing your body. Close your eyes if that feels right for you, or keep them at a soft gaze ahead of you. As you listen to these words by Reverend Sherry Woodbury. Here we are in our circle again, a circle of vision and reflection, a forum for deciding and empowering. Here we are at the base of another bridge, another space spanning the shores of today and tomorrow, beckoning us to cross the chasm one day at a time. Here we are, gathered again at the cusp of the future, at the boundary that holds community together. Here we are in a circle of love and trust, brought to this moment by a series of choices and promises, by hope and gratitude, by our own shadows faced and befriended. With a servant's heart, with a leader's listening, with a parent's love, truer than all our inner trembling, let us model the health we seek for all and lean into community. Somewhere out there, all we dream is possible. Somewhere here, we are sowing the seeds. May we be so blessed. I now invite you, as you are willing and able, to come forward and participate in our candle lighting ritual. If you are willing and able, we encourage you to keep the state of the world on your heart as you come forward. And remember that we have a call to social justice. So come forward as you are willing and able and light a candle. The first candle is being lit for those attending online, and we will light a last one for all the joys and sorrows we continue to hold on to. Thank you, Rachel. My voice was feeling a little scratchy. In the face of uncertainty, injustice, and transformation, Unitarian Universalists are called to a faith that is not casual, not passive, but bold and audacious. Reverend Dr. Martin King Jr. urged us to walk forward with an audacious faith in the future. A faith that does not shrink in the face of challenge, but rises with courage and conviction. Former UUA President Susan Frederick-Gray echoed this sentiment, declaring, "This is no time for a casual faith." Indeed, our moment in history demands a faith that is deeply engaged, responsive to suffering, and resolute in the pursuit of justice, an audacious faith. A faith where its practitioners are willing to take bold and courageous risks. I know this to be true in my bone because my journey to this faith was not easy. I had given up hope of finding a spiritual home where I could be free to explore matters of the Spirit without fear of dogma, free to ask the big questions without prescriptive answers, free to be fully myself while growing deeper into spirituality. I searched for a faith that placed love at the center, where justice was not an afterthought, but a calling. For a time, I thought such a faith did not exist. And you heard Fluffy's testimonial. He had the similar experience in not believing such faith existed. But then I found Unitarian Universalism, a faith that is both life-saving and life-giving, one that affirms my longing for freedom, my passion for justice, and my deepest belief that love is the most powerful force in the universe. I remember my first time at a UU church, I heard a sermon similar to this, that is one that talked about our shared values. And I kind of wanted to do that because we have had many new faces coming through our doors, and it's always important to go back to our values and see what this faith is all about, because being non-creedal, sometimes it's hard to tell someone who we're all about. So today, with our shared values as a guide, I am telling you that we can trust that we have what we need to build a better future. And with that front of mind, I invite us to explore how our faith, grounded in interdependence, pluralism, justice, transformation, generosity, and equity, empowers us to meet today's challenges and offer hope for the future. We began with interdependence, the recognition that we are woven together in the great web of existence. The truth is both spiritual and practical. In an era of climate crisis, deep societal division, and global interconnectedness, our survival depends on our ability to act with reverence for the earth and for all beings. To practice audacious faith means to trust that our actions, no matter how small, are part of a larger movement towards healing. It means believing that together we can protect our planet, repair harm, and nurture relationships of care and justice. Unitarian Universalism calls us to embrace humility in acknowledging our place in the vast and wondrous web of life. Our faith teaches us that liberation is collective, that no one is free until all are free. Audacious faith means standing firm in the belief that we are responsible for one another, that love demands action, and that justice is inseparable from compassion. This commitment to interdependence also calls us to be accountable It is not enough to merely acknowledge that we are connected. We must actively repair harm, nurture sustainable relationships, and recognize our responsibility to future generations. To trust and interdependence is to believe that despite the fractures in our world, healing is possible through our collective effort and shared values. Our audacious faith is one that celebrates pluralism, the belief that diversity is not a weakness but a strength. Unitarian Universalism is home to people of many theologies, identities, and background. In a world increasingly fractured by polarization, we affirm the power of deep listening, mutual learning, and the embrace of difference. To live out pluralism means to trust that we do not need to have all the answers. It means believing that wisdom can be found in many traditions, that revelation is ongoing, and that trust is best discovered in community. Audacious faith does not demand conformity. Instead, it calls us into relationship with one another, teaching us to celebrate both our commonalities and our differences with love and respect. In today's world where fear of the other is often exploited for division, our faith offers a radical alternative, a belief that diversity enriches rather than threatens. It asks us to lean into discomfort, to listen with open hearts, and to recognize that truth is multifaceted. To trust in pluralism is to trust that we are all sacred beings, each bringing something valuable to the whole. The work of justice is sacred work. Unitarian Universalism has long been on the front line of struggles for civil rights, LGBTQ+, equality, immigrant justice, and so much more. Yet, as we look at the world today, we see the persistence of racism, economic inequality, and systemic oppression. Audacious faith refuses to accept injustice as inevitable. It calls us to trust in our ability to create change, to build diverse, multicultural, beloved communities where all people can thrive. It calls us to dismantle white supremacy culture, challenge oppressive systems, and commit ourselves to the ongoing work of collective liberation. Justice is not a passive hope, it is an active pursuit. We trust that change is possible because history has shown us that transformation occurs when people come together, when movements rise, and when love is put into action. We are called not just to witness injustice, but to challenge it with unwavering faith. At the heart of Unitarian Universalism is the belief in transformation, both personal and collective. We do not cling to rigid traditions for their own sake. We adapt to the changing world with openness and courage. Ours is a faith that grows, that learns, that evolves. We aspire to practice Maya Angelou's belief in human nature that when we know better, we do better. Audacious faith means embracing the discomfort of change. It means trusting that transformation is not just possible, it is necessary. It means recognizing that our work is not complete, that justice is never finished, that we are always becoming. It means stepping into the unknown with trust, believing that healing is possible, that love has the power to reshape the world. To trust in transformation is to believe that who we are today is not who we must be forever. It means making space for new ideas, new voices, new ways of being in community. It asks us to reflect, to change, and to continually seek deeper alignment with our values. To live with an audacious faith is to cultivate a spirit of generosity. There is the financial aspect of generosity, which we are fully engaging in during this generosity campaign. However, generosity in the context of faith, at least our faith tradition, is more than financial giving. It is the generosity of presence, of time, of attention, of love. Our faith calls us to share what we have freely and compassionately, building relationships of mutuality and care. Most importantly, it asks us to widen the circle and make space for others to come in. And a culture that often prioritizes individualism and scarcity, Unitarian Universalism offers us a counter-narrative, one of abundance, of radical hospitality, of shared resources, and collective well-being. Generosity is a spiritual practice, one that deepens our connection to one another and strengthens the bonds of community. Audacious faith means trusting that when we give freely, we receive more than we could ever imagine. True generosity extends beyond charity. It is about creating a world where all can thrive, where resources are shared equitably, and where we can act not out of obligation, but out of love and gratitude. Finally, our audacious faith is a faith that proclaims the inherent worth and dignity of every person. In today's brutal environment where so many are marginalized, where access to resources and opportunities is unjustly distributed, we declare that every person has the right to flourish. To live out this value requires more than words. It requires action. It means ensuring that our congregations, our communities are truly inclusive and accessible. It means redistributing power and resources so that all people, particularly those most impacted by oppression, can thrive. It means trusting that a world where equity prevails is not only possible, but it is within our grasp. The challenge before us, beloved, is great, but so is the power of our faith. We must walk forward together, trusting in the power of our values, knowing that we are enough, that love is enough, that we are ready for the work ahead. We are called to an audacious faith, a faith that refuses to be casual or complacent, a faith that marches forward with boldness, with love, and an unyielding commitment to justice. A faith that does not simply dream of a better world, but works tirelessly to build it. May we walk forward together with audacious faith in the future, knowing that we have everything we need to meet this moment. May we be the embodiment of love and action, the bearers of hope, the builders of a new and just world. May we be so blessed. And now, please rise in body or spirit and join me in singing hymn number 348, Guide My Feet.
My
These waters, they never stay calm for long, because they are teeming with the stuff of life. The energy of our being washes over and around us. Let us brace each other when we need to stand against these currents, and let us hold hands when what we need is to relax into the waves, riding them together. These are the words of Chad Snyder. Beloveds, worship has ended, and now the service truly begins. Have two call to actions for you. The first one is, we are in a moment where our call to justice needs to be at the forefront of our faith. So I am encouraging you to lean into our shared values, knowing that they are preparing us, they have prepared us to meet this moment. And also, the second call to action is to support the sacred work of this beloved 1U community by making and keeping your financial pledge. Support Unitarian Universalism. Pledge early and pledge often.
Please say these words with me as we extinguish this flame. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again.